Okay, now as promised, we're coming right back and going to continue to make this Htaccess file or implement it in our Htaccess file. So far what we've got done is we've checked to see that our mod basics turned on. We've made sure that our .htaccess file is actually being processed, and we've got our two users, which happen to be Ed and Bob. So now we're going to go into our .htaccess file. We're going to add some information in here that's going to let this file get processed. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use auth type. Keep an eye on your case for this stuff. Case sensitive, so it's important that you watch how you're typing. So capital A, capital T. My auth type is basic. My auth name is going to be the pop-up that kind of comes up to tells me something, either ask me to log in or just kind of a descriptive thing. So I want to say or username and password required. Okay, so whatever I type there is going to appear in the dialog box. It'll pop up now in a minute. Next one is my auth user file. So my auth user file is going to be the server-side directory or server-side full path of this file here, which is, because I'm in Windows, I need to include the C, wamp www test folder .htaccesswd .htaccesswd, and for right now we're going to require user ed. So that means that the only user is going to be allowed to get in here is going to be the user whose username is ed. So I'll just save this, come back to my test, and I'll reload. So you see a username and password is required. The site says, and here's the part that I put in my quotes, see? Username and password required. If I go Bob and Bob, I log in, but it doesn't let me into the file. So it still says, no, I'm sorry, you're not allowed there. If I go Ted, it won't let me in. If I go Pat, it won't let me in, and I'll just do an enter on a blank. If I hit escape, it'll bring me to a 401 authorization error page. I have to hit refresh to get my dialog box back. This time I'll log in properly as Ed and Ed, and now I can see my test folder again. Now notice that because I call that file .htpassword, we're not seeing it. Okay, so just to kind of illustrate that point a little clearer, I'm going to just copy this file and I'm going to just change it to Htaccess. Yeah, I'm sure. So nothing's really changed in that. The only thing I want to do here is I'm going to actually I got it open over here, I do believe. Let's close that one. I'm going to call the Htaccess file. So I'm going to save that. And now, because I'm already in here, I'm going to just close my browser up and start it up again. Try to go to my test folder. It says that I can't get at the file. I want to log in properly. And you'll see that now my password file is actually showing up, because, and this is actually the password file that I'm calling, and this is why we used the .ht file and we had that other thing that I showed you before. The rules to not let that file get processed, because now someone can go into the, if they know what password file we're using, they can go and grab it, and as soon as they grab it, they can kind of run a cracker software on it until it, on their own computer, until it finally finds what the password is. In this case, it should take a cracker program about, I don't know, 3 seconds to get both of them, maybe less, because they're pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm just going to close the browser for a second. I'm going to remove this this ht password file, as we don't want it there. I'm going to excuse me again, sorry. I'm going to go back into my test folder. And I try to log in, and all of a sudden I get the server error. The reason I'm getting the server error is that, remember, I changed my .htaccess file to not point to the right spot anymore, or to point to the other file that I created. So what that's doing now is it's looking for a file that's not there. If I get one of these errors, I can go to the Htaccess Errorlog, go right to the bottom, and it'll tell you that, oh, something's not right. The system cannot find the file specified, and that's the file it was looking for. And it tells you how someone actually got there. So I need to go back to here to fix that and put that dot in. So that error log file can be quite helpful. So now I go to refresh, and it still doesn't let me in because I try to log in as Bob. If I log in as Ed, in I go. And because I'm using the .ht password file now, it's not being seen. I want to show you one other interesting bit of once you do get someone to log into the system, and that is in the access log. So you see there's things in the access log. You got these little blank spots that are in most of them. But when you get down to the bottom, you're going to see, well, we got Bob, we got Ed. And wait a second, we got Ted and we got Pat. What's going on? Well, anytime that you actually put in a username, whether it's authenticated or not, like, so in other words, whether you logged in properly or not, it's going to take that name and stick it into this particular folder, or include it in the log file, saying that this person, or the person trying to log in as this person, is trying to log in to the system. Sometimes they have access to it, sometimes they don't. This is just the request for access. So not always a lot of useful information there, but just so you know that it does give you a bit of extra stuff in your log file. Okay. Yeah, I think that just about does the basic logging in part. There's one other part I did want to show you, and that was, right now I had it set up that you can only log in as Ed. So if you want to change that to let you log in as anybody, you just had to say require user. So by saying require user, any, actually it's a valid user, I do believe. Let's hope I did that right. We'll find out in a second. Let's go Bob. No, that's not right. I guess it's just require user. Where am I? Actually, require valid user. I'm pretty sure it's valid user. Just hang on now. Yeah, okay. It needed the minus. I was gonna say. Anyway, so that just that'll let any of those users that are in your file actually get into the into your login. So if you wanted to have a folder that you had 5 different people that could log into it, you can give them 5 different username and passwords, and then from your log file you can tell which one of them have gone in and what they've done in there. Okay, so we'll call it video wrap for this one, and next we'll take a look at setting up group folder access. So I'll talk to you again soon.